Fannie Mae again, and it's Thanksgiving. This is my first Thanksgiving since I moved over here to the Welcome Center. Everybody's coming by for Thanksgiving dinner. So come on, and I'll show you how to make my famous dressing. This is everything you need to make good homemade dressing. Start off with your cornbread. If you don't know how to make cornbread, go over to Dolores' channel and she shows you how to make cornbread in a wrought iron skillet. Now, if you ain't got time to do that, most of your cornmeal has a recipe on the bag. So it's pretty easy. So that's your basic substance for your dressing. It's cornmeal. None of this Pepperidge Farm shit, none of that stuff. No. Okay. Then you got onion. You got to chop that onion up real small. I'll do that in a minute and add it to it and show you what it looks like. And then you got to have hard-boiled eggs. I put about a half a dozen of hard-boiled eggs in mine. Then celery. You see it over there? There's your celery. You see the hard-boiled eggs. Over there, you'll see my chicken pots already cut up, and I got chicken broth. Even though I'm making dressing for my turkey, turkeys don't have a lot of fat and grease in them, and they taste better if you cook an old fat chicken down and use that grease broth for it. Okay, and then one of the things that I like to use is this Bell's seasoning. It's a stuffing seasoning. It's salt-free, and it tastes about like poultry seasoning, and the main thing is sage, and I got my big pot here. I've already got one skillet full of cornbread all crumbled up in there, and I got one skillet right here that I already cut it up, and I'm going to crumble it up. I usually use, if I make a big batch of dressing, I use 2 skilletfuls of cornbread. I don't use that Pepperidge Farm and all that kind of stuff, because I don't like it. That's not the way my mama or my grandmama or my great-grandmama did it. We just crumble this stuff up in the pot. It's not hard to do. And y'all, if you don't know how to make it, like I said before, go over to Dolores' channel, and she shows how to make this shit real easy. Ain't nothing to it. Sometimes when I forget, I go over there and listen to her thing all over again. But, see, you just crumble that shit up. It's just real easy. And I've already poured my chicken broth that I cooked the chicken parts, so I poured that in there. Now I've crumbled up my chicken parts that I cooked, you know. I like that in my dressing too. So you debone it and everything and stick that crumbled up chicken in your pot. Here, I've got my onions. I had that one big onion. I like a lot of onions in my dressing. And some people saute this stuff first. I don't like it that way. It's not the way my folks did it. Some folks do that. And I know the Franks and all, they saute everything. Well, we don't do that down south, not for everything. And for dressing, we don't do it. So you just pop that in there. Okay, now we've got celery. Now, the thing about celery is I don't really like celery too much. The only thing I like celery in is my dressing. And maybe a Bloody Mary. The rest of it goes outside to the goats. Because I don't like that shit. But it's crunchy and I like it. Now, if you don't like celery, the taste of it's what you really want for the dressing. You can use cream of celery soup. Or some folks even will boil the celery so it won't be, you know, hard. But I kind of like that crunch in it, even though I have to gum it. So I only put 2 pieces of celery. The rest of it I got over here for, you know, for the goats. Okay, now I've got my 6 hard-boiled eggs all chopped up. Now, some people say well, I put my egg in my cornbread, so I don't put no egg in my dressing. Well, that's fine, because the hard-boiled egg's not to hold your dressing together. It's to give it some more flavor and texture when you're eating it. I like it the way my folks always did it. So you pop that in there. Isn't that easy? Now, Here's my little box of seasoning stuff. Now, y'all, if you can't get this, you can use the poultry seasoning. It's got about the same stuff in there. But I like this is already measured out. I just put the whole box in there. But, you know, I wouldn't want to add the whole box if I was going to just put a little bit of dressing, you know, but I'm making a big fluid dressing. Now, if y'all wind up not having enough broth, you can use chicken broth. Don't add no water to this, please, for God's sake. That just does nothing but water it down and make it taste bland, and you want it to taste good. Okay, you can make this dressing with any kind of meat. I know my grandmother used to make it with, she'd cook a green ham, which is a raw ham, you know, and she'd use the broth from that, and that was good. And you can use possum or raccoon or turkey. We really like to use a good fat chicken hen to grease down your dressing with, no matter what meat you're really serving with, because we're serving a turkey. But I cook me a good chicken. But if I need some more broth from the end of it, I'll use a can of this stuff. Don't add no water, and don't, you know, put no butter and water in it and say that's dressing, because it ain't dressing. It ain't Granny Mae's dressing. Okay, now we just mix this stuff up real good. It's already smelling good. Let me get this up here so y'all can see. Got my big wooden spoon, you know, I'm turning it like a cauldron. Ever since I was a girl, my favorite way to eat it was before my mama would cook it in the oven. I loved it what I called raw, but everything except for the onion and the celery was already cooked. But she always saved me a bowl of it raw. Even if I wasn't living at home, she'd save me a bowl of it and say, here, I got you some raw dressing. Okay, this is just a little bit dry, so I'm going to open up me a can of this. Just pop the lid of it and pour a little in there until you get it the consistency that you want it. You want it kind of loose, you know, you don't want it real thick, because you want it to cook, and it'll firm up once it cooks. But you want to mix all them real good ingredients together. And when you get finished mixing it, Grandma has to taste it, make sure it's good. You take a roasting pan here. Now you want to butter or grease that pan real good so they don't stick in there. And when you get finished, you pour that in there and you bake it. And have it ready, nice and ready and toasty whenever your turkey or whatever's ready for your meal. But don't put it in there for about 30-45 minutes. Cook it about 450 degrees. I put some aluminum foil on top of it until the last few minutes and take it off so it'll be pretty and brown. Yeah, that's the way I make turkey. And I tell you the way I make giblet gravy. Make giblet gravy. The starter for your giblet gravy is a spoonful of your dressing. Yes, ma'am, that's what you do. You take a spoonful of your giblet dressing or a cupful and put it to the side, uncooked. Then when you take your giblets, if you know what giblets are, that's what comes stuck up in a turkey or a chicken. It's the neck and the gizzard and the liver, and you boil that. Yes, ma'am. You boil that up. And if you need some more seasoning and stuff in there, you put some more chicken parts. Well, make sure to take all your bones out. Put that cup of this stuff in there and cook it. That cornbread in there thickens it up. That's what makes your giblet gravy. That's what goes over your dressing. It's easy, y'all. You think I set folks down south and cooked shit that was hard to make? Hell no, but it was good. So y'all enjoy it. I'll come back like y'all see my table when it's finished for Thanksgiving.